Alright, my name is Juliet Megwe, and on this channel I normally share with you my resin tips. And I don't know how many of you have come here from my previous video where this type of my mold didn't look nice and I had to remove the mold from in here. So to show you how to remove mold that is stuck on metal, check the card above. And after I removed it, I showed you how to make something to reclaim your resin instead of throwing it out. And check also another card above that showed you how I made a freeform bowl using something similar. And today I'm using the other thing I reclaimed. I'm reusing it to make a sun catcher using resin and Chameleon powders or micas. This is very quick, this is very easy. I had to sand the back of this so that mechanically it can connect or join to the resin, because dry cured resin doesn't join liquid resin because the chemical reaction cannot happen on this piece. It's only happening on the liquid resin, and so I have to use that liquid resin and this piece to do a mechanical connection. And so I used a 80 grit sander so that I can get this roughness that connects to this without being too abrasive. And why am I doing this? Why do I even need to put color? Because it was clear and you could see through, as you'll see in that video, or I can show you now, the one I got out of the mold. But because I want to use it as a sun catcher, I don't want it just to be clear. I want it to have a way of reflecting, light. So on this same mold, I have put this paper with some pattern that I'm hoping will give it like a prism effect. And I'm going to try to help it along a little. And I'm going to use some powder on this, some Chameleon powder on this that shines here, so that then we see how it will look as a sun catcher. So we'll do this. I'm using just the Chameleon powder plum, and then we're going to use this crystals to add on to it, and of course hooks and resin. So this is quick. Normally, remember, always wear your gloves and wear a mask. Always wear gloves. But because I want to be able to hold this, and this is not taking long. Alright, this is our plum Chameleon powder. I'm not mixing it in the resin because sometimes the resin doesn't set well. And I'm putting a very thin layer, so I don't want it to take over. And I'm picking the plum because there's that color in here. So it was just, I didn't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to brush on. I really love the versatility of resin. I really do. All right, so that's it. That's easy. Now we're going to just put a layer of resin, not a lot, just enough. And if it gets bubbles, it's okay because the bubbles will help in that, the light, that light effect, but you don't want it to be too many bubbles that they take away from everything. So let's spread this. Let me get something else that will spread it better. All right. And we're spreading it fast so that when we put this other piece on, it doesn't, how do I say, it has resin everywhere, not in some spots. it's fully covered. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this to just remove, not too much so that it doesn't burn. All right, and that's why I didn't wear gloves. I'm going to just place this in, and I'm hoping it doesn't trap too many bubbles. Ah, look at that, it has trapped some bubbles. Ooh. I'm hoping they can come out. And I'm pressing it down so that the resin touches all the sides, all the way to the side, so that they're no longer like a matte finish, because they need to have a shiny finish. And that's it. I will wait for this to cure for 24 hours, and then I'll open it. See, it has bubbles, but there's nothing really I can do about these bubbles that are on the inside. I hope they'll be more helpful than not. So I'll get back to you tomorrow to show you how it looks once it cures, and then we can continue with the other part. And please remember to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on such interesting new videos. Now what I'm going to do is string a combination of the crystals, the hooks, the ends, using the fish line, and then I come back to you and show you. These are the size of the crystals. So we got to drill and make the holes like this, and I sanded the edges a bit because for the parts that were sharp. Now we're going to hook this up. Here's the hole. Not so hard. You can use your fingers for the part that looks hard to manage with the pliers, and then now you take over the pliers . You can see it is nice and neat, and it gets to move around. So I'll fix this and then I'll show you. Here it is on black so that you can see the contrast, because these are clear. It looks so lovely. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on my videos. Keep watching so that I show you how this looks in the sun. This sun catcher has turned out pretty cute. God bless you. We'll see you next time on my next video. Baraka Tele.